Hi, welcome to VNN, to our interview session, part of our discussion series on various subjects of interest. We have with us Ambassador Praveen Verma, retired, and we'll be talking about something of interest to everybody today.
Thank
Welcome to
you.
VNN, Praveen.
Thank you for calling me here again. And you, despite of so many bad news around, you seem to be in a very good mood today.
Maybe it's nice, cool down the snow, and anyway, to start off, I think now. Last week's big thing was the United Nations Human Rights Council, or Commission. They wanted to be implemented in with the CAA case in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, one of the
Supreme Court.
petitioners, yes.
And they passed. I think they were going to pass a resolution, which I don't think they have done that.
Not as yet. No.
So, what do you think of that now?
Well, I think anybody who is resident in India, whether an alien or an alien corporation or a multinational organization, has a right for litigation if they feel that their issues have been impinged upon. UNHCR has also gone under those provisions and as a part of a petition which has been already put in by
By Indian NGOs.
Indian NGOs and Indian, I think this one is an Indian civil servants or whatever it is.
Okay.
There are many Indian civil servants also who have joined the bandwagon, including some foreign service officers also, let you know. Now it's everybody's right. They've gone in there, and Supreme Court will have to take into consideration and have to respond to it. But the point is, it's of no use. It's only a PR value, a publicity value, a value of something coming up on the world view. Because CAA, as you know, we have been discussed it in and out so many times. It's our own issue. It doesn't impinge upon any Indian national, and it's a fully constitutionally passed law. So a foreign organization, a multinational organization, has no locus standi on these issues. It's our sovereign matter, and they should not. As a matter of fact, I would say they should not come into it. But then the fact that they have come into it doesn't really make any difference to us.
And the strange thing is, this UN Human Rights Commission members are Pakistan, Libya, Sudan. I mean, these countries. But the UN Commission doesn't talk about them.
Where the UN Human Rights Commission on this particular issue didn't or never talked about. As a matter of fact, a similar amendment went through in the American system also, known as the Lautenberg-Specter Amendment, which was done in 1989-90, and that was to take care of refugees who had come in from Soviet Union, religious persecuted refugees.
That's mainly the Jewish community.
Lautenberg.
Oh yeah, right,
Lautenberg.
Right. So the Jews were allowed in.
Jews were allowed a fast track or allowed in quicker who had run away from Soviet Union and other countries in that region. Now this was amended later on to include.
That was a Specter Amendment.
That was a Specter Amendment.
Correct.
So it's all, even today known as Lautenberg Specter Amendment, which allowed at that time.
That was after this Iranian imbroglio started.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And Muslims were also taken out of that category of special people who are around.
Okay.
So all these people, the American so-called politicians and the organizations,
Bernie Sanders
and Bernie Sanders keep on talking about it. They forget about it, that they have done it themselves.
Yeah.
So these are issues which people have not discussed and people have not gone into, and people should know. So that's
the same UN body has given a clean chit to China. They have not mentioned a word about not pass a resolution, nothing.
They are quiet when it is a matter of convenience, wherever they want to talk, wherever they get money to.
So why is it? Is it because they consider India as a soft state? I mean, that anything can be done with India? Is that it?
We have been soft. One has to concede the fact that we have been soft, and we have been, at least on Pakistan, we have been soft paddling on very sweet, thinking then that they'll respond as good boys when we offer them as good boys, but they have not. Secondly is, again, we have an historical case where at least I would feel that there was a system of appeasement of the Muslims for a long time. And now the narrative is changing. And that has scared people over there, that this changed narrative will take away, at least from the political leadership of some community group leaders. And therefore this agitation. And as we are aware, all this agitation is properly funded by interested funds, and we found money trail also of these People's Front of India and all these organizations. where money had gone into their funds on actual days of these conflagrations, wherever it happened politically. So in India, it's again as far as CAA and Shaheen Bagh is concerned, it's again an experimentation as to how agitations are successful agitations are run. It's a professionally run agitation.
Right. Another good thing is I think it is dying down because the CA we don't hear much about it anymore for the time being. Maybe until the Supreme Court passes its judgment on this.
Again, I think Supreme
Or the funds are running out.
Supreme Court should give in a decision soonest possible, but then they have their own timeline. But quite true, funds also are dying out.
Oh, this
As a
agitators.
matter of fact, if the Delhi riots had not occurred, this would take its own course and died down.
Yeah.
It was not so. The road had been opened.
Yeah.
So main issue of the residents had been clarified because of course Supreme Court's intervention also at that time. But then after the roads opened, nothing more was heard about this Shaheen Bagh other than women sitting and eating biryani over there.
What do you think about this now? Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's, it's sort of his disaster tourism. He goes to visit riot-hit areas, get good photo opportunities, and comes out with inane statements like, "Oh, Bharat Mata will be hurt the riots."
No, it's
very
that
strange.
you want to mix a comic interlude into our discussion.
That is- it is a comic interlude.
I'm sorry, Rahul Gandhi has lost his relevance as far as I am concerned. I think people don't consider him seriously. Even Congress is not considered seriously now, although I think Congress has still potential to come
But
back.
his Bharat
And
Mata issue is because his party
his growing beard
held demonstrations in Washington, in London, in front of High Commissions. At that time, he was not hurting Bharat Mata. Suddenly, the Bharat Mata, the word also became a favorite for him.
It's all coming in. Kejriwal is going to Hanuman Mandir and all that. These things are coming in. So
And,
these are basically, I think, public profile. People know that what people want at this time.
The strange, peculiar thing I noticed was Rahul Gandhi keeps a beard, a shadow beard, when he's in India.
On and off.
On and off. Then he goes to South Korea or Thailand or Singapore. I think he just recently went to Italy.
Yeah.
When he comes back, he's clean shaven and baby faced again.
Okay.
I don't know what is the secret behind this, or why is he doing this?
Well, the story in India is that he goes out and meets his girlfriend or something. I don't know. I don't know. Comment. That is a different story altogether. Yes.
That's strange. Anyway, that's his life. Coming to another big development today. Yesterday started the Yes Bank collapse.
Yeah, unfortunate. It's not really a collapse.
Who is to blame for
It
this?
It has been happening for quite some time, and regulators. Basically,
The Reserve Bank of India.
This has been the slide has been seen from last October. The shares went down to I think 29 rupees or something. It's gone up recently because recently RBI has intervened. But what was RBI doing for such a long time?
And they were a member on the board of Yes Bank, an RBI appointee on the board. So he should have red flagged, isn't it?
I think they would be getting reports anyway, and then the real slide started when the Coffee Day owner,
Siddhartha,
who committed suicide jumping from a bridge, he collapsed. That company collapsed. Yes Bank had a huge profile amongst his, I think, 12,000 coffee plantations. Then another organization, Mindtree. So bulk of Yes Bank's investments were there in that organization.
Well, Karnataka, which side is it? Where is the headquarters? I don't know. Was it Gujarat?
I don't recall those. I
The
think
coffee
Karnataka.
plantations could be Chikmagalur and the southern Mysore, that area.
Anyway, basically it started with that, and then they never recovered. But regulators should have come much before, and finance ministry, of course. And if anything happens into a financial sector, I would.
The finance ministry, they have to be held responsible. Yeah.
Although our finance minister has promptly blamed the previous government because all those bad loans
That won't help.
were offered during that period. Yes, that won't help for us, a common man or a person who has account in Yes Bank will feel now. Because poor chap, I was just watching the television. The guy said that I have to make payments I bought things,
Yeah.
I have to make payments, and every 15 days I have to make 2 lakhs of payment. And if I'm restricted to 50,000, how do I make my payments? And then the penalties start coming. Who pays? I pay or Reserve Bank pays? So those issues, people over there is there, and I sympathize with those people. So the shareholders, of course, are losing their money, but shareholders, they are gambling anyway. But people who are in the who have been hit by the impact, that's a bad thing, and this will
Depositors,
take
yeah.
away confidence from our private sector banks,
Yeah, what will
which are
happen-
doing well.
What will happen? This will affect the private sector banks. The
Yes.
people will say, oh, we don't want to put our money
Well, there's
anymore.
a second incident that Maharashtra Bank went
Yeah,
off.
PMC Bank.
Yes, and
that's
then
it,
there's
huh?
a second major
People will lose confidence in
Yeah,
private banking, and then there could be a big run.
now State
run.
Bank is coming in to say that, okay, we'll put in about 2,400 crores or something,
think it's a bit
taking
too
up
late, isn't it?
49%
Yeah.
of the equity. But and it's been happening for such a time. Why to let it slide down to this situation is something which Finance Ministry will slowly explain, other than blaming the previous government.
Another news item that caught my attention was a Chinese ship was seized at Kandla port a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and it contained sort of nuclear-capable nuclear materials, which can be used for long-range ballistic missiles. India seized the consignment. What happens next with China? Because the ship belongs to China. It was going
Where
to
was it
Pakistan.
going? Where was it going?
Where was it going? No, it was scheduled to go to Pakistan. That becomes a big diplomatic issue, isn't it?
I haven't seen that news, but if that is so, well, these are things which now our Navy has to take care of. Our border security or the border customs people have to be more careful. At least, what were they doing in our port? That thing could have gone on high seas and we would have not noticed. So,
Yeah,
is an Indian involved in it? That is the question.
Yeah. Why did it come to Kandla
Why
port?
did it come to Kamla? Was something else being added to it? So I think you have a valid concern.
Yeah.
But we'll let the story unfold and let's see what really happens after that.
And the Indian Army chief today made a statement saying China's army, it is just an aura that they have created, that they have a very strong army and a very powerful force to fool countries in the South, in the Indo-Pacific region. It need not be the case that they are all powerful. They have not combat tested anywhere.
Yeah, we were very small when that thing happened, but
That was
during that
60 that's a long time ago.
Menon at that time also thought that the Chinese army is just a hoax and हम डट के मुकाबला करेंगे
No, but-
एक 100 चीनी को एक मारेंगे लेकिन you know what happened.
That Indians were very ill equipped for that fight. But China did get a bloody nose when they battled Vietnam.
Yeah,
That
and then
border.
we stood them at Doklam, if
Yeah.
you remember. So we are capable of stopping them.
Now, yeah.
And both countries realize that
They know that there's no point in this.
There's no point in sort of fighting with each other and of any sort of engagement. Army chief has also he has his own constituencies to which he has to speak. So I don't know what made him speak that. But I think international strategists really understand, and we also what we read. They have a formidable military. And
Yeah. Coming to coronavirus, a lot of Indian nationals are trapped in Iran, and the Indian government said they are going to open a clinic in Iran. So, and although Iran has said they don't want any help from any country.
No, but they cannot deny help to our own nationals.
So this clinic could be only for Indian nationals.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be that way because Iran has just now given a statement against the CAA also, I recall.
Yes, that's a very interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then I think just like consular access, we want access to, if there are Indians over there, we want to take care of that, fine. But the nitty-gritty would be decided between two governments. Basically, we do have a engagement with Iran on various issues.
Although,
and
why
we don't
the
want to alienate them.
Iranian Ayatollah said, oh, Muslims are being slaughtered in India.
That's
Although in October, November, when there was a lot of food riots in Iran, they killed about 2,000 people, shot dead. there were no complaints about that.
Well, Ayatollah Khomeini his eyesight does not go penetrate to the things which his people.
Although Iran and India there's still a lot of relation, a lot of deep
that's what I
relations.
mean. We have a lot of interest both in trade and politically also, and we really do not want to
Sabotage
to,
that, right?
yeah.
Although, of
So
course,
that's okay. The coronavirus, of course, is affecting everybody, and in Canada also things are going up day
there are
by
more
day.
cases in Canada than in India.
Yeah, because they say that with the temperature also Canada, the
Yeah,
COVID
that's
is
true.
also temperature sensitive.
Yeah,
And
so maybe because
in
of
India,
India
they are
heat.
expecting that once the temperature goes up, even this will also come down. But then again, of course, in India, that more than half of the affected people are Italians.
Yeah,
And in India, people are talking about the Italian connections.
Italian connection. And then I saw a cartoon the other day, somebody saying, oh, this coronavirus is made in China, so it won't last long. That's very strange.
Death made in China.
Yeah, that's made in China. Yeah, so, thank you, Praveen, and we'll
Not at
continue
all.
our interview
Next week
discussion
again.
series next week. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.